All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fans Discussions, continuing our retro review pay-per-view review series. This is going to be Survivor Series 1994. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Man, let's jump into this one. Was a little better than the year before. That's not saying much, considering they're still trying to build up their young talent and everything. This was November 23rd, 1994. This was actually in a smaller venue, and it made it look like it had a capacity crowd in there, but there
Yeah,
was really only 10,000 fans in San Antonio for this one, um, which I thought was kind of small, especially for a pay-per-view back then.
yeah. I guess the business was down.
Yeah, I would
94.
say so because
Yeah,
considering the roster they had at this point, and they're still trying to build them up. Again, we're come with 2 years off of one of the greatest rosters they ever had. The steroid
they're
trial in
still
'93
they're still
still going
transitioning,
on, or
and
yeah, still transitioning,
they're
man.
still transitioning from the Hogan era. So it's a little
It's
rough.
yeah, but the matches weren't bad. They actually had they adapted. They went back to the five-man Survivor Series, which I actually like.
Yeah,
This
I like that too.
it was the opening match was the bad guys versus the Teamsters. The names they come up with, man, I'll tell you. It was Captain Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon, the 1, 2, 3 Kid, British Bulldog, and not the new Head Shrinkers, but the Head Shrinkers. It was Fatu and Sione.
Yeah, AKA.
Bar- Barbarian.
Yep.
And before I go on, I just want to say this is also I think this is the first year they didn't have any replacements. So the card that they had initially, this was
Yeah.
the card they came out with, which was a shock. And I say the captain of the team was Diesel, but I guess you can make an
No,
argument to
Sean.
say it was Shawn Michaels
Sean. Yeah.
and his BS that he was putting
No.
into this match.
Diesel.
During. Go ahead.
No, let's say Diesel's the IC champion. Right? Oh
No,
yeah,
no,
no, yeah,
no,
lost
no.
it. Yeah, I'm
They're the
sorry.
tag
Yeah,
champions
lost
at
it.
the
They're
point.
the tag champions. Yeah, at that point. So it was
Yeah,
kind of like Sean.
before the card, they show Shawn Michaels telling him, "If y'all listen to me, we'll win this." Yeah, okay, Shawn. I don't think Diesel needs to listen to you to win.
I just don't
But
know the whole Teamsters name. I don't see the correlation with the real
I,
Teamsters.
yeah, I don't either.
I didn't get it, but whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, it was. I guess you could say Captain Shawn Michaels, Diesel, the WWE Tag Team Champions, your boy Double J, Jeff Jarrett,
Broke 6,000 guitars,
never drew a
never drew a
dime,
dime.
Owen Hart, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, which it's still weird to see Shawn and Owen teaming in any capacity. But
All the Hall of Famers on that team.
oh yeah, well, uncrowned champion Owen Hart. Remember, he's coming off the biggest year in his career here, and this wouldn't be
Yeah,
the first
technically,
time.
yeah.
Yeah,
Technically, Owen's not in the Hall of Fame, but we know he's a Hall of Famer.
he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
In my book, he's a Hall of Famer.
yeah, and Anvil got in with the Heart Foundation. He
Yeah.
got into that. Yeah, so.
So I mean, this match was pretty good, and then
How
had a
about
lot
Gorilla?
of. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, let me just cut you off.
No, go
How
ahead.
about Gorilla Monsoon back on commentary with Vince
Yes,
for pay per view?
I loved it.
Yeah, but you know why that
I
happened?
always loved Monsoon. Go ahead.
You know why that happened? I believe this is his last pay per view. I think could be wrong.
Well, yeah, because he took over in sometime in
Yeah,
'95.
yeah, I think.
Supposedly, he took
Yeah,
over in '95.
it's because Macho Man left right before this. Macho Man
Hmm.
was supposed to be on commentary with Vince,
It
but
was
he
like a
left.
week or two prior. I remember
Very
on Raw
close.
that Vince McMahon had said that he
Yeah,
opted not to re-sign.
yeah.
You can't blame the guy. He doesn't want to commentate. I mean, come on, he sucks at it. Let him be
He
in the
was
ring.
he was pretty bad. As much as I love Macho Man, he was bad on commentary.
The only guy that was ever worse with him was Ray Donovan.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, come on. Randy was awful at commentary, man. I would have much rather see him in this pay-per-view wrestling.
yeah.
But
Bruce Pritchard
unfortunately,
tells another story. Bruce Pritchard says, "Oh, Randy didn't make it clear
Bruce Pritchard
to
always tells
him."
another
I
story.
know he's a corporate guy. That's the thing is
He is. That's how he survived
he's a
there for so
yes,
long.
yes. But yeah, Macho Man wanted to continue wrestling, and they just basically wanted him to be in the office and do commentary and do office stuff, and he goes to WCW, and
He's
and
not
they
the
got a
office
paycheck.
guy. He's not an
Yeah.
office guy, man.
Supposedly Vince was very angry about this, and Macho Man had told him, "Oh, I'm not gonna do what Hogan did to you. I'm never gonna leave you." But
but he left.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't blame him. But
No.
at least Vince did not bury him when he gave him the farewell on Raw. He wished him
Mhm.
all well. I mean, Vince could have did what Vince does and just tore into the guy,
Yeah, but later on he
and he
does
didn't.
the Huckster and the Nacho Man later on.
Yeah, well, that was good stuff.
Yeah, it was a
I
couple
don't
of
care what anybody says. That
No, it
was
was funny. It
awesome.
was funny.
Billionaire Ted, it was great. In any event, this match was pretty good. The one thing that shocked everybody was that Shawn Michaels had not gotten in the ring at all here, and I thought that at some that maybe he was injured and he didn't want to get in the ring, but it was storyline based for that, and the reason why is because he Big Daddy Cool Diesel ran through the entire team. He eliminated Fatu, the 1-2-3 Kid, Sione. The British Bulldog was actually counted out, so that's the only
Yeah,
one that
which
Diesel didn't get his hands on.
I didn't understand that count out because
I didn't
he's
either.
out there and he's getting attacked by I forgot who it was, but it was by members of Sean and Diesel's team,
Hmm.
and the referee didn't disqualify should have disqualified those guys because they were
Yeah,
attacking him. So and the ref was out there. It's not like he didn't see it; he was there.
yeah, I didn't understand that. I also didn't
So
understand. I'll get to the other one here in a minute on with the Teamsters. So now you've got 5 against 1. Razor's holding his own.
he
You
was.
got you got to
I was
give
rooting
him
from.
that.
I remember when I watched this live, I was just pulling for Razor, man.
Oh yeah, like yeah, like you. I was watching it live, and I'm like, okay, I know he's not going to win this, but at least take out two of them.
Yeah, I got a couple of them.
And so Diesel's looking for the tag, and Sean's constantly telling him, "No, you got this," and you can see Diesel's getting pissed. And now you look at it and you go, "Okay, here's obviously the storyline building up." Because twice before, Sean has accidentally
Yeah.
super kicked Diesel, and so now he jackknife powerbombs his boy Razor. Now Sean wants to get in the ring naturally. But before he gets to the ring, he tells Diesel, "Hold him. I want to super kick him." And Diesel's like, "Oh Jesus, I know where
Yeah.
this is going."
Well, because the thing is, he steps out. Diesel steps out, and then Sean tells him to get back in. He went over the
Hmm.
rope, and he comes back in. He's like, hold him up, and you already knew where this was going.
Exactly. He holds him. Sean goes for the super kick. Razor gets out of the way, and now he hits Diesel.
Yeah.
And now the shit has hit the fan because Diesel has had it, and he's pushing everybody away on the team. Now here's what's funny: as Sean's running away and Diesel's chasing him, the whole team's following him. If you notice, the ref only counted to 10 once. I never saw him count to 50.
No, he
He count
didn't. He
and he
didn't.
count so he counts to 10 and counts the whole team out.
He counted the whole team out
And Razor Ramon is the sole survivor of the
without
Survivor
pinning
Series
anybody,
match. Exactly.
which has never
That
happened.
and then it's funny because they're at the entranceway and Owen and Jared are like, "Wait, we got to get back to the ring." Well, then you guys should have thought of that before.
Yeah.
Just let these two chase each other, and you still got a 3-on-1. That to me was a little weird, and like I said, the ref counting only to 10 once, and now everybody's counted out.
Yeah, that was
That
silly.
kind of that reminded me of 1991, the opening Survivor Series match where everybody but Flair got disqualified. That was funny. I think it
Mhm.
was like a time. Maybe there was a time issue because this match was just
Maybe.
under 22 minutes. So I mean, it could have been that. Who
Yeah.
knows? Or this could have been the way they wanted to do it. I don't
The
know.
I don't know. The
It's
match could,
1994. Anything can happen.
yeah, but I understood what they were trying to do. They were trying to build Diesel
Hmm.
because we know what's going to happen very
Oh yeah.
soon after this. But for the talent that they had in the ring, I thought the match could have been much better. All-star
Yeah.
talent. I don't know. It
I
wasn't
mean,
bad, but I'm
I
just
mean,
saying.
just look at the match, and everybody in there pretty much was a champion of some sort,
No,
Intercontinental, WWE champion, or tag. Everybody held it in that match. So I mean, I agree. It could have been a little bit. It could
no.
at least some eliminations, pinfall wise or whatever, or disqualification, but not just count the whole team out.
Yeah, I don't know.
In any event, we go on to the next snoozer. And this one just reminded me of the year before with the whole doinks and everything. This was the Clowns Are Us
Yeah,
versus the Royal Family. And it was Doink, Dink, Wink, and Pink versus Lawler, Queasy, Sleazy, and Cheesy. Oh my God. You can't make this stuff up. Well, you can, but I mean, it's ridiculous.
No, this was silly. I mean, I understand why it was a comedy, probably for like the kids,
Well,
but
well, well. The one thing that happened was Lawler eliminated Doink, and now what happens? I mean, even the Gorilla said it. Well, isn't Lawler eliminated too? Because it's not like he can get
right.
in the ring with the little guys. I mean,
Mixed
that's
tag. It
where it
wasn't a
didn't make any
uh,
sense. But if this was a clean sweep for Lawler's team, they completely eliminated Doink's team. But then it gets to the comedy thing where his team is celebrating. He's telling them, "Put your hands down. Y'all didn't do anything." And then all of a sudden, now you got Doink's team is back out there. Well, they were under the ring. They're all chasing them around the ring, and then Doink comes back. This was comedy hour. It really was. I mean, and this feud was actually a year overdue to have Doink, the court jester, pretty much for Lawler, now feuding with
yeah.
Lawler. But I mean, Lawler was kind of a year behind on all of his feuds because he still had the unfinished business with Bret Hart that he'll unfortunately take care of in '95. So our next match was for the WWE Championship. It was Bret the Hitman Hart versus Bob Backlund, and it was a submission
I
match.
think
And this we
I
got.
think right before this, I think they show what happened with Sean, right? Sean, they caught him backstage, and
Oh yeah,
Sean,
Top Peg Gill
yeah, yeah,
is
yeah,
interview with him. He goes, "This is what happens when I have a tag team partner." He hands him the tag belt and he
uh-huh.
takes off. And yeah,
That was
I
it.
thought that was
That was the
funny.
end of their tag team reign. Sean relinquishes the tag title without losing it.
Yeah,
Another belt that he relinquished without actually putting anybody over.
and
Is
this
this
gave
bef
us one of the worst tag team title tournaments ever,
Yeah. Is this
unfortunately.
is this before or after they show the Alundra Blaze versus Bull Nakano
It was right
highlight?
after from the Tokyo
Yeah,
Dome.
because they showed it, which I thought was kind of weird. So Bull Nakano, if you guys don't remember, Bull Nakano fought Alundra Blaze in Japan, right, in the Tokyo Dome, and went over on Alundra Blaze for the women's championship. But I felt that it was weird that they didn't. Why didn't they just fight on this pay-per-view? And why didn't Bull Nakano just win on this pay-per-view?
Exactly.
Why would she?
Why would
And
there's and if anything, you could have did a Survivor Series match
you could have done
between
something.
the two. Yeah.
You could have done something because this didn't make sense to me because then they show Bull Nakano's there being interviewed by
hmm
Tom Pettingill. She's speaking in Japanese, so we don't understand what she's saying. And that was it. And I don't know, just felt kind of, I don't know if you felt the same way. It felt kind of awkward. I was like, why didn't they just have this match here?
It didn't make sense that they were showing this
Right.
if you weren't going to do anything with
You
it.
weren't going to do anything with it. Right.
Like you said, they could have had the match here or even a return bout for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
title
Yeah. Yeah.
and whatnot, and it would have made sense then. But you
Yeah.
just show it, and then it's like, okay, so now we got the credit of bringing of showing it on the pay per view, but we're just not going to do anything with it.
Right. Right.
And they didn't do a women's Survivor Series match till the year later, and that was awful. So, but in any event, um, this was a submission match for the title. Now, the stipulation in this match was you had British Bulldog in the corner of Bret Hart, and you had Owen Hart conveniently in the corner of Bob Backlund. So
Right.
the match stopped when they threw the towel in.
Right. But
Now this stipulation, go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, well, this started in the summer when Bob Backlund fought Bret Hart, and it was a good
hmm
match. And Bob Backlund thought he had him
He
beat,
almost
celebrated.
won the title.
Yeah, celebrated prematurely. Bret Hart beats him. Bret Hart like basically goes to shake his hand, and then
He
Bob
snaps.
Backlund snaps because he was still a babyface at that point. Then he snaps, puts Bret Hart in the crossface chicken wing, and this is how we got here.
Yeah. Now I believe this was 1 year late, and I'll explain that in a minute. This all stems back from December 1983 when Bob Backlund defended the WWE title against the Iron Sheik. Iron Sheik had him in the camel clutch, and Backlund's manager Arnold Skaaland threw the towel in
Oh
without
yeah,
Backlund ever submitting. Now there was always uh, constant stories uh, about this because 1 month later, Iron Sheik then loses the title to Hulk Hogan, and Hogan's career then takes off from there. And how Backlund was never given his rematch with Hulk
yeah,
Hogan, and we already know Backlund had said that Hogan's no athlete; he shouldn't be the champion. and whatnot. Because shortly after in 1984, then Backlund's gone from the WWE. So I always thought it was weird that Backlund never got the rematch for his title, and how he Skolin throws a towel and he didn't even
Yeah.
submit. Now, when he arrived back in 1993, I thought maybe at some point they should have done this then to settle the dispute of him never supposedly never losing the title. And they waited till now. I don't. It didn't make any sense to me. It would have made sense when he returned.
Yeah, it
Hey,
came out
I
of
have
it,
unfinished business.
it kind of came out of nowhere, but I still think that it was fine as far as the story. I thought it was a pretty good story. And I bought Backlund as a heel, like just
Yeah.
that he was crazy. I bought it. So
I mean, this match was good. The WrestleMania 11 one wasn't. This match was actually pretty good. They showed you the technical wrestling of both
mhm.
individuals. I thought it was funny how British Bulldog, he trips over Owen Hart, knocks himself out on the stairs, and now I got to watch Owen for the next 15, 20 minutes with the fake crocodile tears for his brother, because at that point Backlund had gotten the chicken wing on Brett.
Which they make sense. I was gonna say Hogan. I was gonna say Hogan.
I don't know.
Brett was holding onto the rope. When he
Yeah,
got the crossface, Brett is holding on. The referee doesn't do anything. He doesn't break the hold. It wasn't a no DQ match. They were supposed to break the hold,
yeah.
and he didn't break it. And then eventually he pulls him off, puts him in the crossface. It was 10 minutes actually. Look, I was curious. I remember it being a long time, but I actually looked at the clock this time. It's ten
Yeah,
minutes.
if you watch it on the pay per view, you feel like Brett's been in
It
this hold
felt it felt like
forever.
yeah, it felt like I remember as a kid, I was like, come on, I'm cheering Brett on. I'm like, come on, Brett, get out. I thought Brett was gonna get
I'm
out.
yelling at the TV. You're tearing his shoulder. His
Yeah.
career is over.
No, I thought Brett was. I thought Brett had a counter to it, and I'm like, Brett's gonna counter this. He's gonna get up.
Yeah,
And
because he said he had been in an interview that there's a counter for every move.
right.
Not
So
a counter
it
for
was good
this.
storytelling, the technical
It
stuff. It was,
was.
but the whole thing with this is what I understand. So, well, let me go back a second. Going into this match, I was like, Brett's gonna lose because there's no way Owen is gonna throw the towel for Bob Backlund. He doesn't care about Bob Backlund. Why would even if Bob Backlund's screaming, he's not gonna throw the towel, right? So I had that
Yeah.
feeling, and then
When he was
Bulldog,
screaming, Owen turned around like, I don't know. I'm not
yeah.
looking at him.
So then Bulldog has the towel for Brett. He gets knocked out. And Owen's crying, and he's like, "I'm sorry, Brett." I mean, it was good acting. It was good storytelling. And then
Yes.
Vince is like, "This is the real Owen Hart. This is the real Owen Hart." Like he came to his senses.
Gorilla's not buying it
He had
either.
to come to Jesus moment. But
Yeah.
so then he goes to his parents, Stu and Helen, and gives them the towel. And then Stu takes the towel. Stu was like, "No," which was cool. I like that. I like the fact that Stu was like, "No," because he used
We're
to
not
torture the
doing
hell out of
this.
he used to torture the hell out of Brett in the dungeon.
Yes.
So he's like, "My son's not gonna quit. There's no
This is
way."
a Tuesday for my
Right.
son in the dungeon. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
So eventually, the mother snatches it and throws it in the ring. Stu gets upset, but it is what it is. But what I
Yeah.
didn't understand, I think we spoke about this in the Bret Hart episode we did. How the towel does not transfer to somebody else. Like it doesn't work that way. Bulldog was the only one that was authorized to throw that towel in the ring, not his parents. So you mean to
Yeah.
tell me like if the towel like blew like a gust of wind and it blew the towel in, that the match would have been over?
I
You know what
guess
I'm trying
I
to
guess
say?
that's
Like it
what.
just doesn't.
But I mean, storyline wise, it made sense for something like this to happen where she does it
Yeah.
because a mother and if
It's
this is her son.
no, it's good storytelling, but
But
mean,
you're right.
maybe I'm
He was
nitpicking.
a. No,
It's
I think
wrestling,
the
yeah.
stipulation was that Bulldog had to throw it in,
Yeah, it was
but they
Bulldog.
overlooked that in this at this point.
Yeah, they
I don't
overlooked it
know,
because he went whatever anyway. So
but it was
Brett,
good
no,
storytelling
it was great storytelling. I'm nitpicking now, but then Owen
because
takes the top.
Brett
Yeah,
and Brett lost.
yeah, I was upset, man. I was so upset. And Brett, but Brett, dude, nobody can sell like Brett. Brett did a
No.
great job at selling that shoulder when he's holding on to the shoulder. But Owen after that takes the towel and then just darts.
Runs away. Yeah, he's holding it up. He's got like he won
Yeah,
the
like he
championship.
won the
Like,
championship.
well, in a way, he did because he finally, because remember, he says, Brett, you're a nobody.
You're a
I'm a
nobody
king.
now.
You're below
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
Like, this was his victory. I finally accomplished this. I won the war against you.
yeah.
And Backlund's in the ring, like, holy shit, what just happened? The belt is on him. And of course, when he's being interviewed, oh my God, the words that he's using, he's going to pasteurize me.
Yeah.
Really? You're going to milk me?
No.
What is this? And he goes, I'm a god.
Oh
Now,
my God, yeah.
this was good because obviously now 3 days later, after this, at the Garden, Bob Backlund would defend the title against Diesel, and in 8 seconds, Diesel beats him. So now Vince can look at Bob Backlund and go, "See, you've been pinned for the title. Get the hell away from me.
Yeah,
I'm
so
done."
at the time we didn't know this,
No,
but
we didn't.
they were setting Brett. I'm sorry, no, it's Brett. They were setting Diesel up to be the champion.
And
They had
Backlund was the guy that
the
he was.
transitional.
Yeah, he was the
It's
placeholder.
ironic. It's ironic because when Sheik beat Backlund and
Sheik
with
was
the
the placeholder for Hogan.
to get Hogan, yeah, because they didn't
Yep.
want Babyface to go over on Babyface. Same situation here. They didn't want Diesel to beat Brett for
Not
the
yet.
title. Yeah, so that was the aftermath of.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know it was
But we
coming
didn't
because I
know it.
remember I
I had
remember
no
watching
idea.
Superstars that weekend, and they said Diesel was the champion. I was like, wait, what now?
What? Yeah,
I just saw Backlund and they show the video highlight of the Garden,
yeah.
and Diesel's all fan favorite and stuff, and I'm like, what just happened to you?
Well,
It was
when
it's
Diesel's,
kind of like it reminded me of 2 years ago when all of a sudden you watch and you find out that Bret Hart's the champion.
yeah,
It's like, wait, what they just do here?
I don't like when they do stuff like that. With the title is prestigious. The title we have to see it live even if you do it on Superstars or Monday Night Raw. It doesn't
I
have to be
think
a pay
Monday
per view.
Night
We
Raw would have
need.
been a perfect place to do it
Yeah, I don't
if you
know.
didn't want to wait till the Rumble to do it, because I don't think it would
I
have
think
it wouldn't have made sense at the Rumble. It
I,
would have been too
I
long.
I could be wrong, but I think I remember hearing something from Pritchard or somebody saying that the reason why they did stuff like that sometimes was kind of to get the people invested into the house shows. That hey, you never know what could
Yeah,
happen at a house show. I have to go to this house show because remember when Diesel won the title, it might happen again. So I think which is I guess is smart, right?
yeah, because they even do that now because they at one point in the last couple of years they thought about eliminating the house shows because people are like, all right, I'm going to see the match, but it's going to end in some type of disqualification. I know the title's not going to change
Yeah.
hands and whatnot. And or you could be like last night. I just heard that a fight altercation came out because when Karrion Cross was fighting Drew McIntyre, somebody threw a beer at Scarlett, and here
Jesus.
comes the security and the cops, and the whole family was escorted out and arrested. I mean, you never know what you're going to see at a house show. But I mean, I used to enjoy going to them as a kid. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
because
went to a few house shows. They were fun.
there were always matches that you wouldn't normally see on a pay per view. Like for me, my favorite one, and then we'll get back to this. I know we're sidetracked here. For me, it was in a steel cage match. It was the Legion of Doom and Shawn Michaels versus, I'm sorry, not the Legion. It was New Age Outlaws and Shawn Michaels versus the Legion of Doom and the Undertaker in a steel cage in '97. So I knew I was never going to see that on Raw, at
Oh
least
yeah,
not
yeah,
at
yeah,
that
definitely.
point,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not going to see it on a pay per view. And I
Right.
really enjoyed that match,
Yeah,
and it was awesome to see.
yeah, definitely. Because they would go off script. They wouldn't follow the main storylines. They would kind of
Exactly,
sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
So, I mean, congratulations to Bob Backlund, even though he's going to pasteurize and homogenize or whatever the size
Mm.
to everybody. I don't know what's going on with this fruitcake.
Oh, real quick, I think this is the last Survivor Series on a Thursday, or Thanksgiving Eve. I'm sorry.
Actually, I think so because I think
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken,
95
I believe
is on a
95 is on a
Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Just want to mention that.
and that's a shame too because I enjoyed
Just
coming home from school, getting ready to watch it. That was my kickoff to Thanksgiving weekend.
because you were off from school the next day, and like,
hmm
yeah, yeah, yeah. I missed that too.
I
Yeah,
got the turkey and stuff the next day, but I got the pay per view tonight. Yeah, I missed that, man. I wish
yeah,
they would. And now it's on Saturdays. I don't even make any sense.
yeah.
In any event, we move on to the next match. It was Guts and Glory versus the $1 Million Team. It was Captain Lex Luger, Mabel, Adam Bomb, and the Smoking Guns.
Your boy Adam Bomb,
I don't say my boy.
and the newly babyface Adam Bomb.
Yes.
I think he turns on Harvey Wimpleman. I think at some point.
Mhm.
I think.
Hey, they could have done something with him. He had the look, man. You
I,
can't deny it. It's a lot
I
better than
always,
Jared. Come on.
yeah, no, I always he did have the look, 100%. I
Yes.
always wanted one of those. They had like Nerf balls that he used to throw, right, with the bomb on it into the
Yeah.
crowd.
It was cool. It was, I guess, with Bam Bam Bigelow or Tatanka. One of them was the co-captain. It don't matter. I think it was Tatanka. Tatanka was the captain. Bam Bam Bigelow, King Kong Bundy, and the Heavenly Bodies. Oh Lord.
You know what I understand? So this is the $1 Million Team.
hmm
It's a million dollar corporation besides the Heavenly Bodies. Erwin R. Shyster is part of
They
the
they did mention that he was absent, but
Yeah.
we find out why.
Oh
He
yeah,
he was set up for the main event
yeah.
because at the Royal Rumble, then Undertaker faces IRS.
Yeah,
So
but I mean, he still could have been in the match. I
he
mean,
still could have been in
Bulldog
the
came out.
match.
Bulldog came out twice.
Yes, I know. Yeah, they could have
So
had IRS
maybe it
fight
was
in this
because of
match.
maybe it was because of a numbers thing because they were like, well, if we get
If you have a
we put him
tag
in
team on
there,
one side, you got to have a tag team on the other side.
yeah, and we got to get. If they would have had him, then they would have had to get another singles guy, and maybe they just wanted to get the heavenly bodies on. God knows why.
I don't
You
know.
know,
I don't think they were feuded with the Smoking Guns, but this was 94 into 95. They really had no tag
yeah,
teams.
it gets worse. It
With
gets worse the next year. Yeah, it gets
Oh
worse.
yes, but especially with the finals of the tournament at the Rumble. You know, what was it? Bob Holly and the 1-2-3 Kid won the
I
tag. I
do.
mean, come on, God, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, jeez.
Exactly. So this match was actually pretty good. First one out was Tom Pritchett at the hands of Mabel. Obviously, you know you knew that was going to happen. Unfortunately, then Mabel gets counted out. That's how the $1 million team got rid of him. Bigelow then gets rid of Adam Bomb, and I liked actually when Mabel almost went out with Bigelow. Then Bigelow did that somersault off the top rope. I
Mm.
thought that was pretty impressive.
It was, yeah,
You know, for a big guy,
yeah.
Bigelow was agile, and he was still trying to show that he could do it.
Hmm.
So Adam Bomb is now out. Mabel's out. Luger takes out Jimmy Del Rey. Tatanka takes out Bart Gunn, and now Luger is pretty much screwed at this point. But he does get the pin Tatanka, which
Yeah,
was
at least he
he,
got one.
he got retribution on that. But in the end, Bundy and Bigelow were the
Funny.
sole survivors.
And Bundy had
I mean,
just came back. He had just come back, I believe.
yeah, you have a youth movement, and you bring him back.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
they felt like he still has some gas left in the tank, but you could tell he's not the same. He had
no,
gotten
he's not.
bigger and he really couldn't move the same way he moved like in the early 80s.
Yeah, I mean,
I should say mid
he
80s.
was. I think he was gone shortly after Mania, after he fought the Undertaker. Because I don't really
Yeah.
remember him being around much longer. Well, because at that point, then towards the end of '95, DiBiase had gone with Sid when he had returned. But by that point, the $1 million corporation was kind
Yeah.
of shot to hell. But right now, they're thriving, and Bigelow and Bundy like I said, are the sole survivors. Now, our main event was a feud a year in the
Should,
making.
just want to mention they beat down Luger and then his team came back out and helped them. So
Yeah,
that was nice.
it took a minute.
It did, and I remember I was watching. I'm like, man, they're just gonna leave him for dead. I know they got eliminated, but they didn't get sent home. But they do come
Yeah,
help him at the end.
seriously.
Yeah. So
Well, by this point, it's Luger has been given up on completely. I mean,
yeah,
after this storyline, it's
yeah, it's
Allied
over.
powers. I mean, it's over
Yeah.
for him, unfortunately. And I still think he could have been in the main event status. Speaking of the main event, feud 1 year in the making. It was The Undertaker versus Yokozuna in a
Hmm.
casket match with the special enforcer, Chuck Norris, to make sure that nothing that happened at the Royal Rumble happens here. And half the guys that showed up at the Rumble didn't even show up this time. Obviously, because some of them turned fan favorite.
Do you remember
So
the vignettes when Undertaker was building the casket, the double deep, double wide?
double
I love that
wide.
stuff. That was great. On
It was
Superstars, they used
awesome,
to give
man.
the vignettes. That was great.
Oh yeah. And this match was just as good as the Rumble. It was just as good as when we saw the two of them
Yeah.
lock up at the Survivor Series the year before. I mean, this was just good stuff. The two, I wish I could have gotten to see them fight more
It's
after
unfortunate.
this.
Yeah, it's unfortunate this wasn't for the title though.
Nope. And
He
this
got
was Yokozuna's last main event, other than the In Your House where all the titles were up
yeah.
for grabs. But this
This
was
is
pretty
the
much Yokozuna's last hurrah in the main event status.
and you
Now
were
that
wait
this is dropping down.
you were kind of waiting for it too because when he first came back, he had to get rid of the Undertaker. But
Yes.
you were always thinking like he's got to get revenge on Yokozuna for what happened at Royal Rumble '94 when he killed him or he ascended whatever the hell happened there. Yeah, so it was nice to see them finally lock up again.
Oh yeah, and of course, four individuals did show up.
Mhm.
IRS got involved in the match.
He
He
snuck up while Bundy and Adam Bomb no, I'm sorry, Bundy and who
Bigelow.
was it? And Bigelow were in the aisle. He snuck
Yeah,
up.
he actually got in the ring and was beating them down. And then of course, here comes your boy Jeff Jarrett. And of course, he's got to be the one to take on Chuck Norris, and he gets a nice little savate kick to the chest.
Dude, I jumped up when this happened, man. As a kid watching this, I jumped up. I was yelling, yeah. And Chuck Norris was over, man.
Oh,
he was over, especially in Texas. That was during Texas Walker Ranger when he was doing that show.
Oh yeah,
the crowd went crazy. They popped like crazy.
Oh yeah, and then because it was at that point that Yoko had Taker in the casket.
Yeah, because Shyster threw him in there.
hmm And
Trice threw him
then
in there, right?
here,
I think
well, Yoko did it first, and then IRS after his beatdown, he kind of
yeah,
threw
yeah.
him in there. And when Yoko went to
He was
close
the
it,
one.
nope, you're not where this ain't happening. And he puts the big man in there and he beats him and check. I took care of the Yokozuna, but like I said, I wish I would have seen more matches with this because well, when the Undertaker finally wins the title again, Yoko's already gone at that
Yoke
point.
was
So
already
unfortunately,
the health problems and stuff. Yeah, so
yeah. And again, Vince losing faith in him and saying, "Okay, now you had your 2 year run. I'm done with you." Man, Yoko could have been in the main event a lot more than what he did. It's just
yeah,
a shame. It is. But this
unfortunately.
was a really good match. Two friends fighting it out here. And I love the following Survivor Series where Taker had all his boys with him on his Survivor Series
hmm
team. We'll get to that when we review 95,
Yeah.
if we can get through that one without falling asleep.
Oh Jesus. No, we won't. All right, well, you guys let us know what you think about this Survivor Series. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.